Introduction. It doesn't matter if you run a well-established business or you are managing a startup. It doesn't matter how much of a budget you're working with. Like it or not, and believe it or not, the main way you can make people become aware of your company's brand and eventually consume the products or services your company offers is through advertising. Free advertising doesn't exist. Let's put it this way. You can't be in two places at once. If you're spending all this time and effort trying to brand and promote your business the free way, what if you're doing something else that produces 10 times the result? You cannot ignore Facebook ads. What's so awesome about Facebook ads, besides its relative low cost, is the technology behind it. Again, you may be operating with a fairly small budget. That's okay. Because with Facebook ads, you can leverage the highly sophisticated social snooping and personal profiling technology Mark Zuckerberg brought to the table. Did you know that when you log into Facebook, you are legally giving them the right to figure you out? I know, it sounds creepy, but Facebook has so much technology it can figuratively get in your head. It is no surprise that a lot of people consume lots of random pieces of content on Facebook, only to find themselves, sooner or later, being shown ads that seem so personal. It's as if they're thinking about certain things, and an ad would show up that matches those concerns, fears, or needs. There's nothing magical about this. This is a testament to just how robust Facebook's technology is. This training gives you a step-by-step walkthrough of the different ad opportunities currently available on the Facebook ad platform. Effective Facebook advertising tips and ideas. Carry out the tips below to optimize your FB campaign and scale up your success. Ride your best ads to their logical conclusion. Keep running your best ads until they no longer meet your performance targets. Proof your post ads before spending money on them. Facebook allows you to promote your post on their system. Just because you think a post is hot, it doesn't mean that you should go ahead and spend cash promoting it on Facebook. Do yourself a big favor and post it on your timeline and see how many shares, comments, reactions, and other engagements you get. If it looks like a winner because it's so well received, then you should spend money on it. This way you proof your ad post ahead of time. You're not coming out of right field. You're not conducting some sort of wild experiment. You may need to build up your page first to pull this off successfully. Make sure you have a budget buffer. Make sure you split up your advertising budget in a way that can adequately fund your experimentation and the whole Facebook ad optimization process. You should also set aside the bulk of your advertising money for scaling up your formal ad campaign. This is how you maximize your ad budget dollars. If you set this up properly, you actually save money because Facebook will run your ad more often if it gets a lot of clicks from your ads. Before you give up on an ad set, give it one more try. If you failed many times, you have to keep trying many times. Well, if you're sure that your ad campaign is a bust, despite its initial success, take a look at the big picture. In the beginning, your ads may have been doing really well because you picked the right image. Your ads were getting the right attention. The problem is, there is such a thing as banner blindness. When consumers keep seeing the same banner over and over again, they reach a point where they no longer see it. That's right, it's as if your banner doesn't exist. This may be the case. If you look at your ad's performance and it was doing really well in terms of ROI in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it starts to drift down and eventually it drops off a cliff, you might want to change the image associated to your ad to cure banner blindness. Personally, I've turned around many of my campaigns just by using this simple trick. It seems basic, it even seems obvious, but it's very effective. Always test your ads in context. It's very easy to just test and optimize an ad based on the same ad's performance. For example, if you're running your first ad, it's very easy to do this because you can see which of the ad variations is doing really well. But when you do this, you're just comparing the ad against its own performance. This works the first few times, but if you've been running ad campaigns on Facebook for an extended period of time, or you've spent quite a bit of money on your ads, compare them against each other. Don't compare an ad set against itself. You may get the wrong impression. You may be thinking that you're doing really well, but it turns out that, historically, you're underperforming. This is why you have to always look at the context of your campaigns. Your campaign is not just some sort of free-form campaign that is floating out there. You must connect it with what went on before. Remember, you're trying to appeal to the same set of eyeballs. Unless you are dramatically shifting your target audience, you're essentially still trying to appeal to the same people. That is the context. And if something worked with them in the past, chances are it will work with them again in the future. The key is to break this down to basic principles or elements and apply those principles and elements to your new ads. There's no way to measure the success of that strategy unless you compare the performance of these later ads with the ones that came before. Repurpose your content and see if it improves your results. You may think that you're doing really well with post ads or picture ads, but you shouldn't leave any money on the table. What I mean by this is that if there is a format that converts better, there's really no reason why you shouldn't take a chance at presenting those type of ads. If your post ads are doing really well, why not turn them into a video? Create a video and run a video ad campaign. You may be in for quite a bit of a shock. It may well turn out that your otherwise stellar performance using text ads will suddenly go through the roof if presented in video form. Of course, you shouldn't adopt a one-time big-time mindset when repurposing or presenting content in a different format. Don't think that just because you converted your most popular and most effective ad content into a video and it failed, then that is the end of the story. No, you might just have created a wrong video. Maybe you just picked the wrong snippet. The key here is to use the optimization process that I have taught you in other parts of this training and apply them to your ads, regardless of its format. You optimize a video ad the same way you optimize an image ad. Keep tweaking it until you get the outcome you're looking for. Remember, it's all about conversions. It's very easy to define success on Facebook's advertising system strictly in terms of clicks. I'm telling you, if this is your mindset, you're setting yourself up to fail. Almost anybody can set up a campaign where an ad would get a lot of clicks. But last time I checked, clicks don't put money in your bank account. Focus on the bottom line instead. Focus on sales or behaviors closely related to sales like lead generation, mailing list recruitment. The basics you need to know before creating your first Facebook ad campaign. Before you get your first campaign going, it's crucial that you have a good understanding of what makes up a Facebook ad. The basic parts of a Facebook ad: schedule, amount of time the ad will run for; budget, amount of money you're going to pay Facebook for running your ads throughout the life of that specific campaign; bid, maximum amount of money you will pay for people to take certain actions. You can pay for a view, a click, or even an email collector. The more targeted the action, the more you should expect to pay for that action. Placement, location of your Facebook ad. This can appear on mobile devices, or it can appear on certain spots on desktop devices. Device, select among mobile or desktop device types. Audience targeting, demographic breakdown of the people who could possibly see your ads. You can target demographic factors like age range, gender, location, and others. Creative, this term refers to the media, video, or image of the ad you're using to promote. What should you be aware of when making your ad? Focus more on why you're advertising in the first place. This gives you a big picture view that can help you increase your chances of success. What is your specific goal? Are you looking to just send more traffic to your site? Are you looking for more people to become aware of your brand so when you do run other ad campaigns, they're more likely to click? Are you looking to build up a mailing list? You have to optimize your ads based on the outcome you desire. How well do I know my customers? If you want to maximize your return on investment, you need to find the tightest demographic that fits your product or service. It's more efficient that way. Am I reminding people or am I advertising to them? As I mentioned in the previous video, Facebook has a retargeting technology. This allows you to remind people who have already visited your site about the value of your products and services. This is a very powerful tool to get people to come back to your website. Obviously, these people have already been exposed to your brand. Is this what you want to achieve, or are you looking to reach new eyeballs? These are people who have never been to your website and you're just trying to introduce yourself. These are two totally different objectives. Make sure you're clear as to which one you're going to pursue. Know the basic terms of Facebook advertising. By getting up to speed on some basic online advertising lingo, you can increase your chances of setting up the right advertising campaign. Attribution. This refers to the different types of marketing channels consumers take notice of before they take action on the ad. Attribution is crucial because it lets marketers assemble a total collection of ad campaigns that need to be in place until they get the result that they're looking for. Conversions. Conversions boil down to actions that either immediately lead to dollars being added to your bank account or paves the way for that possibility. Cost per click, CPC. This is the amount of money paid on average for each click of your advertising link measured by taking the full amount of money you spent and dividing it into the amount of ad clicks. Cost per 1,000 impressions, CPM. Take the amount of money you paid and divide it by 1,000 views. These types of campaigns pay for ad views, not for clicks or conversions. Frequency. How many times an ad showed up in front of eyeballs. Reach. Unlike frequency, this metric refers to how many different individuals your ad was broadcast to. Impressions. This refers to how many times your advertising appeared on users' screens for the first time. Click-through rate, CTR. The number of clicks that your ad got divided by how many times the ad was shown. Clicks. This refers to the actual unique clicks your ad got. Unique depends on how the tracking system defines a unique click. It could actually be the same person over several days, or in some cases over 12-hour periods. What options does Facebook give you for targeting? As I mentioned several times in this training, Facebook can actually help you target your demographics in many ways. Here are just some of the many robust targeting options available on Facebook. Lookalike audience. This feature allows you to profile your existing audience or people who have already interacted with your brand. The hope is that once you figure out the profile of the person who's already interested in your brand and apply it to filter people who haven't seen your brand before, people who see your ads will behave like your known customer. Custom audience. To get a lookalike audience campaign going, you must first profile people who behave the way you want on your website. These are people who enter their email addresses, buy stuff, or do things that add to your bottom line. You set up a Facebook pixel to create a custom audience so it would profile people doing the kinds of things you want new customers to do on your website. Connections. This enables you to limit or set up the relationship with the new eyeballs you're advertising to. Maybe they are interested in an event. Maybe they use a certain app. Maybe they've gone to a Facebook page. Or maybe they're friends with people who already liked your stuff. Connections is a great way of targeting people who had some prior contact with your brand or know people who do. Generally speaking, people who share the same interests tend to be friends or have some personal connection. Behaviors. You can target people who use certain devices or who have bought certain things. Language. This is pretty self-explanatory. You can target the main language of people exposed to your ad. This is very helpful because if your ad is in English, yet you're targeting the majority of a non-English speaking country, you might have very low clicks and even lower conversion. Age and gender. You can target people based on whether they're male or female, as well as their age ranges. Location. You can target people based on their zip code, city or town, state or province, or country. For the purposes of this training, we're going to focus primarily on Facebook Ads Manager. How does Facebook's ad system operate? As you can probably already tell, Facebook has a lot of users and this creates a lot of ad inventory. After all, when a user loads many different pages as they check out different types of content on Facebook, these pages can be used to show ads. This is what makes up Facebook's ad inventory. Bidding system. Facebook will look at your targeting criteria and match it up with all the other targeting criteria of other advertisers. Once they find advertisers targeting the same type of people, they would then look at what is the maximum amount of money you're willing to spend for every click. These are then compared against other bids in a real-time auction that plays out every single second. The good news? You may be outbid for ad inventory, but there's a daily spending cap. So if your competitor already maxed out their ad spend, technically speaking, your cheaper ads could show up. However, you're taking a big risk here. You're assuming that there will still be inventory left over. If the market you're targeting is so narrow and so tightly defined, there might not be much of an ad inventory to fight over. In that situation, you can bet that your competitor will basically suck up all the available inventory and your ad won't show. Increasing your maximum ad spend per day. Given these realities, it's no surprise that Facebook constantly encourages advertisers to boost their daily ad limit. Put simply, it's saying that if you just raise your maximum ad spend limit per day, you can beat your cheaper competitors. But this doesn't necessarily mean that you will always be paying the top rates. The practical effect is that you're locking in on inventory. Of course, this all depends on how motivated your competitors are and how targeted your traffic is. Different forms of paid ads. Please understand that the ad bidding and auction system that I described above applies to all ads. It doesn't matter whether the ad appears on a mobile device or is actually a promoted story, which is part of a user's newsfeed. These are all paid ads. Accordingly, they all have to go through the bidding system. Factors that affect per-click value. Cutting close to home. Which key factors does Facebook consider that directly influence the amount of money you're going to have to pay per click? Please understand that there are many factors involved, but the bottom line is intensity and volume of competition. If your competitors are highly motivated, they will basically have a big budget across the board and try to beat you in every market at every time frame. However, with everything else being equal, the most important factor that affects pricing is the country of origin of the traffic. Other key factors that affect your per-click rate is the type of audience you're looking for. If there are a lot of advertisers competing over that same audience demographic, expect to pay a lot more. Also, where the ad is placed on a typical Facebook screen has a big impact on how much you're going to pay. The more prominent the ad, the more expensive it would be. How to get started on your Facebook ad marketing campaign. What follows is an overview of the 6 general steps you need to take to run a Facebook ad campaign using the Facebook Ads Manager. Please understand that we're not going to be using Power Editor. We're going to be using the default Ads Manager Facebook makes available to the general public. Step number 1, create your Facebook page and your business account. Step number 2, access the Facebook Ads Manager. Step number 3, target your audience. Step number 4, create a Facebook ad campaign. Step number 5, create an ad and run your campaign. Step number 6, monitor your campaign carefully.